In today's episode of the Pathmonk Presents podcast, I'm here with Logan Mallory, and he's hailing over from the folks over at Motivosity. And I really want to sort of deep dive with him into the product because now it's really all about employee engagement in these episodes. So basically, the company is there to drive rewards and go even be much beyond that to get your employees really engaged with your organization. So, Logan, welcome to the show.
Lucas, thanks for having me. I'm glad to get to spend some time with you today.
I appreciate that. So, Logan, maybe give us a quick overview. What is Motivosity all about in your own words?
Yeah, Motivosity is a platform that helps create a sense of gratitude and connectedness amongst your team members. And we do that through employee recognition. Now, a lot of the people that, if you were out there looking at employee recognition vendors, a lot of them will talk about the stuff, just the rewards, right? They'll talk about the gift cards, the swag, the Amazon store, and Motivosity sure makes your rewards portion easy. But we try to think deeper than that by helping connect your team members and have them look for the good things that are going on around them at the office. Because when you feel appreciated for your work and when you have meaningful relationships with your peers, you work harder and you stay with the company longer. And so that's Motivosity's focus.
That makes a whole lot of sense. Maybe tell us a little bit about the organizations. What types of a company is benefiting most? Is there a certain amount of employees that I would need to have? Is there a certain scale or a certain industry I should be in where Motivosity really helps out the best?
Sure. So we actually work really well in most industries. Typically, you'd want 15 or more employees, but we work with, in fact, I just saw a note that we onboarded a company of about 20 employees this morning, and we work with one of the largest banks and one of the largest advertising agencies in the world. And so really more important than how big your company is the question, do you want to build a meaningful culture, right? And if that's one of your focuses and you're trying to retain and engage your talent, that question answers more about whether or not Motivosity is for you, more than industry or size. We work great in even manufacturing or trucking industries, for example, where people aren't always at a computer. We want to make sure that people who aren't sitting at a desk all day are also recognized for the good work they're doing. And so we fit even those types of industries.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Now, how do these organizations hear about you guys? Like, what would be sort of the typical client acquisition channels that you guys would leverage?
Yeah, for sure. We do a lot of the normal marketing that you would expect a B2B SaaS company to run, right? We spend time in review sites. We have Google AdWords running. We make a decent investment in paid social. One of the other things that we've been doing a lot of, the Motivosity brand is really compelling. It's a really fun and energizing brand. And so we perform really well live. So podcasts like this, speaking events, in-person events, we actually are typically recognized as the most fun or compelling booth at a lot of conferences. And so that actually makes a really big difference in our marketing efforts.
That makes a whole lot of sense. Super interesting. Now, how do you, as a marketer, because you spoke about the brand, and obviously also, I would say even the website, brings that across. It's friendly, clean. That's very for sure. How do you think about the website? Like, what role does the website play in your thoughts about the journey getting started with Motivosity?
Yeah, for me, like I feel that the website has a crucial job, but it can't do all of the work, right? Like people need to be able to experience Motivosity in different ways in different places. And so I expect the website to help re-emphasize some of our brand values, which are engaging and fun and not corporate, right? And so when people come to the website, you'll see our tone is pretty conversational. Like we talk in normal talk. We don't use crazy jargon. We're not using HR terms and formal copywriting. And so for me, the website should be an extension of what our product and our brand is. And that's very approachable, a very approachable brand.
Mm. Now, when you think about the website, like, what do you consider sort of its strength versus where do you even see room for further development and improvement? Because a website is, in most cases at least, an ever evolving, piece of work.
Yeah, absolutely. We're testing right now. I'm in the middle of some testing, and so if you're on Motivosity's website, you can see we've recently changed our CTAs, and those CTAs, instead of requesting a demo, are driving towards watch a demo. And so when you go to our form fill conversion page, we've got some gated videos, and in one part of the A/B test, there it's an open video, and the form is next to it. On the B version, it's a gated video, and you have to put in your information in order to see the demo. Now, it's a hefty demo. It's like 6 minutes. You get to see the product. It actually like answers your questions about Motivosity. And so we think it's worth the information trade-off and gating it. And that's been an interesting thing to test and see what our users and our prospects are willing to provide in exchange for additional information.
Very cool. Now, maybe we talk a bit about more about, because you've been you've been actually been a professor in marketing, you've not just been in the shoes, you're also looking academically at it. What have you learned over the years when it comes to actually driving conversions on the website? Is there any tools, approaches, methods that you found to be reoccurringly helping? Any ways of thinking when conceptualizing the website?
I think a lot of times we talk about best practices, right? And we say this is a best practice, or that's a best practice, or you have to do this. And what I've learned is that just because you're in B2B marketing, or just because you're in technology, doesn't mean those best practices always hold true. And so I think what I would encourage marketers to do is to always come in with an open mind. And yes, you might have run a test or done some optimizing in a previous role, and it's great to start with that hypothesis, but make it a hypothesis, meaning go test it again and make sure it's still relevant. Another thing, as I teach these classes, and I've been really grateful to teach at the Brigham Young University's Marriott School of Business, and taught some strategy and marketing courses there. One thing that I always tell people to do is to be looking for a new idea and have it in their back pocket. So for example, in my email inbox, I have folders, right? I have a folder for reports. I have a folder for creative services. And one of my folders is ideas. And anytime a new vendor reaches out to me, or I read a cool article, or I hear someone talking about a test they're running, I'll drop a note in my ideas folder. And then when I'm doing planning for the next year, or when we have a slow month and I need to try something new, or we have some extra budget and I can go use that budget, I go to my ideas folder and I look for whatever I think is the most relevant or compelling idea. And so then I'm not sitting there twiddling my thumbs, but I have this list of options to try to optimize. And that's always served me really well.
That makes a whole lot of sense. Now, I'd like to switch gears a little bit and get to know you a little bit better as a marketer. Now, there is so much content out there, right, in the world of marketing. How do you, keep on educating yourself? Like, what are go-to resources that you personally actually enjoy quite a bit to keep on, sharpening your marketing skills?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. One thing that's bad about Google is that it feeds us what it wants to feed us, right? And so sometimes we end up looking at the same search results or the same websites because a site has high domain authority and Google prioritizes their content. And that's both beneficial and it's also a risk. It means we're only seeing what Google puts in front of us. And so for me, one of the best ways that I intake new information is lunch. I go to lunch with people and I sit down and I say, what are you working on right now? Or what are you really excited about? And what's worked well? And really the one-on-one conversations give me access to ideas that are already in practice. And so for me, my network is really where I feel like I get my best ideas, because then I'm talking to people who are not trying to create content for just for marketing purposes. They're not trying to sell a product necessarily, but they're in the thick of trying something, and I can get a jump start on learning from people who are already in the middle of it. Of course, I read a lot of the normal things. Like I'm always, Neil Patel shows up, HubSpot shows up. I'll look at content from Ad Age and think about branding from that perspective. My LinkedIn feed is filled with marketers that give me new ideas. But lunch with peers is a powerful tool for me.
Mm-hmm. Since we're slowly approaching the end of the interview, we have some rapid fire questions to get to know you and your journey as a marketer a little bit better. Are you ready for those?
I am very ready. Should I be nervous?
Yes.
Great.
What is the last book that you read?
I reread How Will You Measure Your Life by Clayton Christensen.
Very profound, very good. What's one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
Simplifying. How do we simplify our sales and onboarding and marketing processes?
If there would be no boundaries in technology, what's the one thing that you would fix for your role as a marketer today?
I would fix attribution. I would say make attribution clean and easy so that so that we can maximize ROI immediately.
What's the last thing that kept you awake at night about the company?
Let's see. Last thing that kept me awake about the company. How do we support a growing sales team? We grew our sales team significantly this year, and how do I feed those reps and keep them busy and hitting their quota?
And the last question would be, right, if today would be your very first day, right, sort of, taking on a role as a marketer. So imagine you stepping into your very first marketing role. And maybe we can even go back, right? You were at Brigham Young University as a student back as well. So stepping out of that, what's the one advice that you would give yourself for your career in marketing?
I would say don't feel too rushed. Meaning, when I was younger, I felt like every decision I made was crucial and would either decide if I was a failure or a success. And what I've learned is that I've gotten a little bit wiser with time, and what felt like failures has actually put me in a really great spot and helped me be a more a better leader and a better marketer. And so some of those failures were really benefits to my career.
Makes a whole lot of sense. Logan, I really appreciate you took the time with us today to share the story of Motivosity, but also your journey as a marketer. I want to give you the very last word. If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed about Motivosity today, what's the one thing that people should remember?
Absolutely. If you're trying to retain and engage your talent, Motivosity is a great platform to make that possible. Lucas, I appreciate you and your audience. It's a small world, and if I can be a resource for anybody that's listening, I hope they'll reach out. I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn, and I'm easy to find there. And if I can help in any way, I hope people will reach out.
Thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathmonk Presents.
Thanks again.